If your FPL team is a mess and you need to transfer out half of your team, it may be time to activate that wildcard. And if I was wildcarded in Game Week 3, this is what my wildcard team would look like. And yes, we do have Haaland and Salah and Palmer and Trent and no bitches. Fact. But yes, this team is actually possible. So we've gone for the Raya in goals, as even though they're keeping all the clean sheets and we think, oh yeah, just 6 points maximum, right? But he's actually making all the saves and getting all the bonus points, making him potentially the best FPL goalkeeper in the entire game, no matter the fixtures. Why would you not have it? Picking the backup goalie, though, comes down to just one thing. The most important thing, right? Who has the nicest kit? That's right, because your backup goalkeeper is just going to stay on the bench. You're not going to play them ever because they're not playing. So why not just choose the keeper who's just nice to look at on your bench? And that's why I've gone for Lumley here, who also coincidentally plays for a team you're not going to triple up on. You're not going to have 3 Southampton players. If you do, stop playing FPL. So he's also not a waste of a player spot right there too. Trent and the Liverpool defence has looked very solid so far, so I now do think he could be worth it for that 7 mil, mainly for the fact that I do think he is going to have a big hole in him very soon, but he's also the most expensive defender, so just allows you to get down to anyone else when anyone else looks very impressive. I've also gone for Pedro Porro as the mid-price defender, who may not look great for the immediate fixtures, so you could swap him to anyone else if you fancy them instead, but with him being as attacking as he is, I don't think you can attack me for saying he's a good pick right here. Then we have the defender rotation of Pau Torres and Lewis Dunk. Pau should be a starting defender for the next few game weeks, with him having very good fixtures, with Dunk being first backup because Brighton defence looks pretty solid. But then we do also have the 4 million Ben Johnson as a backup, who could even be ahead of the likes of Dunk or even Pau Torres in certain game weeks. But worst case scenario, you have really good rotation cover, injuries, bench, suspensions, all of that. Depth, yes please. Then in midfield, we have Mo Salah. Need I say more? Every game so far, he looks like he's going to dodge all the points and then still comes out at the end of it with like a double-digit haul, because that's just what he does. And the fact that you can actually squeeze him in a team here with a Palmer and Haaland as well, yes, I want him, please. Cole Palmer showed us he's still Mr. Chelsea, right? Where he can actually still score FPL points without penalties, huh? Imagine when he starts getting penalties again. Boy, oh boy, top point scoring again incoming. But in the next few game weeks with Chelsea's very good fixtures, he could even be your best captain shout in this team, maybe even in Game Week 3 right here. Smith Rowe scored his first goal for Fulham, so could be fantastic value as he looks like he's just going to keep playing and potentially keep scoring. So with great immediate fixtures, I think he's good to get in there for now, and then when the fixtures dry up or somebody else starts looking better, then you can just get them in instead. Then we have the potential rotation of Morgan Rogers and Amad Diallo. Both have actually been starting and playing very good minutes so far for their teams, and with both of them being just 5 million, I think they're perfect picks to add that spice and add something nice to be able to enable the big boy premiums in the rest of the squad, but also be good enough to play as well. Then up top, we have Haaland, who is in fact still good at football, apparently, you know. 15 million made him the most expensive player ever in Game Week 1. And now he's the most expensive player in FPL ever at 15.1 million. Oh, and guess what? He's still worth it. He still gets the points. He still gets the hat-tricks. He's perfect for captaincy in any game week. If you can have this team right here and have him in there, why would you not? And then finishing it off, I've gone for the Muniz and João Pedro as the other 2 forward, who could be used to rotate with any of the other mids or defenders. You might want to even play a 5-4-1 and not play any of them in any certain game week. I mean, I wouldn't do that because that's just cheeky scrub behavior, but you could. But when they do have great fixtures, such as Muniz this week and João Pedro next week, then you can just play them whenever you want, rotate with any of the other defenders and mids, and you are good to go. And that right there is the ultimate, the best Game Week 3 wildcard team you could make right now, in my opinion. You obviously may prefer other players, like you might not like a Pedro Porro, Muniz and Amad and all that, so you can make any changes you want. But as a base, the fact that you can have Haaland, Palmer, Salah and Trent in one wildcard team right now, wow. That looks pretty damn sexy to me. It is apparent that we have so many good enablers this season. The fact that, like, you know, a Muniz, a João Pedro, a Smith Rowe, a Rogers, the defenders. The fact that all of these are looking incredibly good value just enables us to have all of these premiums. So it is actually possible to not only have a very good squad with these big boy premiums, but also still have incredible depth and just a really well-rounded squad overall. If you can't quite afford this team because you missed some price rises or you had some price falls, I like it. But the first few players you could sacrifice from this could be like a dunk down to somebody else, or even one of the rotating mids in Rodgers and Ahmad. But as we're at the start of the season, there hasn't been too many price rises or falls, so you should be pretty close if you're not. Now, the real question is, before even looking at this team, we should have said this. Do we actually wildcard yet? Do we smash that button? And is this the best game week to wildcard? Where I would say, for you personally, if your team and half of your players are already big doubts, and you just don't like your team, your structure, or you don't feel like you can sort it out at all, then do it. That's what the wildcard is all about. You may have a team consisting of Nkunku, Eze, Quansah, Solanke, Barco, and all the rest, so it may be the best for you out there. But what I will say is there will be an international break after Game Week 3, and wildcarding just before an international break is always a bit of a, just in case players get injured over the international break and all of that. And also the transfer window isn't quite closed yet, so you don't really want to wildcard, and then all of a sudden Osimhen goes to Arsenal, and you're like, I feel like I need another wildcard, so maybe that's something to keep in mind. We do also have another international break in Game Week 7 to 8, where also some Champions League games have been played, and we can start to see who's being rotated and how the teams are facing out in that. And we do also have big fixture swings in Game Week 6 and also later on as well. So even if you aren't tempted yet, it probably will still be best to wildcard soon. So even if your team's like kind of in the middle, then I would actually suggest to wait for right now, but then look to wildcard soon. So kind of just pick players short term and then eventually smash that button. But you know, a wildcard isn't just for fixing your mistakes. You could already be ahead, you could be doing really well, and you're like, you know what, I want to make sure I keep up this good start and just make sure I have a better team moving forward. So maybe you just want to activate the wildcard for that. But that is all. So let me know, what do you think of this wildcard team? And are you tempted by the Game Week 3 wildcard? Me personally, not for me. But it is close. But yes. Thanks for watching. And also, remember...
Don't be a cheeky scrub. Subscribe to Nathan Bacon right now. Don't let your memes be dreams.